possible. Banner number 18 has been secured. Brown goes inside. Oh, what a slam from Jalen Brown. Oh, Pritchard banks in the three at the buzzer. Great in and out dribble. Oh, he set off the smoke detector.
Well, the Knicks stay alive in just a defensive performance that I haven't seen from them all series and really all year long. What's up, everyone, and welcome in to your Celtics source, home of your 3-2 Indiana Pacers, your, I would say, Cancun Boston Celtics, and obviously your Western Conference champions, Oklahoma City Thunder. This game, the defense, that's where we're going to start because that was really the storyline of this game. What the Knicks were able to do to one of the best offenses in the game, and certainly in this series, they hold the Pacers under 100 points for the first time this series. And it was right from the beginning. I mean, the Pacers had, how many turnovers did they have in this game? 20 turnovers. They're a team that maybe turns the ball over 7 times at most in a game. And in this game, they turn it over 20 times? Where's this defense been from the Knicks? Like, why haven't we seen this before? I think this is a one-off situation, right? A lot of times, right, the team that is down 3-1, right, with their backs against the wall, they play really well in Game 5 at home. If it is the home team that's down. If it's the away team, maybe they play well in desperation. But then we see, in Game 6, the better team closes it out, or at least the team that was winning the series closes it out in pretty dominant fashion, which is what I think will happen, in Game 6. I think this is just a fluke of, just brilliant defense from the Knicks. I don't think it's repeatable, but, we'll dive into just how they were able to do it. Starting with, I think it was Jalen Brunson playing only 34 minutes, right? Jalen Brunson, he is a liability on defense, right? He gets attacked on almost every possession when Tyrese Haliburton's on the floor or when, Pascal Siakam's on the floor. Right? He's a small guy. It's really easy to sort of body him down. And partly because Jalen Brunson was in foul trouble a little bit, but more because, he had a dominant night, Jalen Brunson, which we'll talk about on offense. But he only plays 34 minutes in this game, right? Opposed to, the 40 or so minutes we've seen from him throughout the series. In fact, Tom Thibideau uses his bench so much in this game that all of his starters play under 37 minutes. Right? OG Anunoby or Karl Anthony Towns plays the most at 36 minutes. Josh Hart comes off the bench, right? They go with Mitchell Robinson and Karl Anthony Towns, 2 centers, double big, and that worked well. Right in the beginning of the game, Tyrese Haliburton was not able. He couldn't find a shot from the beginning of the game, but he was trying to get into the paint and find ways to drive and kick, and just when he would get into the paint, Karl Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson would sort of just close in on him and stop him from putting up a shot, but also stop him from kicking it out, right? Getting their hands on deflections, right? there was a lot of deflected balls, just some sloppy turnovers and decisions on passes from Tyrese Haliburton and others on the Pacers, but also great defense and getting out in transition, which is just the opposite of what this team usually does, which is why I don't think it's repeatable. Um, but we'll move on to the offensive end of the floor because it it is maybe I think it's the 20th time in these playoffs that Jalen Brunson has scored 32 or more 30 or more points. Right, he has 32 in this game specifically. 12 of 18 on field goals, 4 of 7 from 3. That is one of the most efficient nights you can have, especially when you are a the main target of another team's defense, right? We often see, role players take two shots, right? And they make both of them, or even they take, in the 6 to 10 range, but it's not enough shots to really say that they were super efficient, right? If you come out and you shoot 2 threes and you make them both, yes, you shot 100%, but you don't have that, um, basically the enough time and shots to really say you were that efficient, right? Jalen Brunson, 18 shots, right? The fact that he was able to score 32 points on 18 shots while just taking 4 free throws, which he didn't miss, but really shows a gap between Tyrese Haliburton and uh, Jalen Brunson, right? For the first 4 games, we were saying, maybe Tyrese Haliburton is right there with Jalen Brunson in terms of um, offensive production. But we see in this game, even though the Pacers are up in this series, we see that Jalen Brunson can just get any shot he wants, any time down the floor. Whereas you have these games from Tyrese Haliburton where he just struggles to even get a shot off, right? And that's where I think I have Tyrese Haliburton just outside of the top 10, um, because he scores just 8 points in this game, right? Only take 7 shots, 2 of 7, 0 of 2 from 3, but it doesn't matter. Like, I know you're trying to find like, if you're Tyrese Haliburton, I know you're trying to find your teammates, right? He has 6 assists in this game, 0 turnovers from him, but at some point you just got to put the ball in the basket, and he is a play he is one of the rare guards that it seems to be a make a play for someone else before making a play for yourself, right? There are very few players like that in the league, and you need more of them in the league, but it is a star driven league, and a star driven league by scoring, right? You have to, at some point in crunch time, score a bucket, right? And that's you know where the Pacers fell apart, because it was a 20-point lead for a lot of this game, but the Pacers cut it down to 10, 12 points, once in the third, and then once in early in the fourth quarter, with plenty of time to come fully back. But you see Jalen Brunson, who has been in a rhythm the full game, right? He gets wherever he wants. He makes a couple shots, and Tyrese Haliburton again cannot find any space to get a shot off, right? And part of that is some great defense from um, the Knicks, but a lot of that is just him, not looking to be aggressive, right? He's gotta, if he wants to get to that next step, that next level, he already has the playmaking down. If he can get to the level where defenses don't bother him in terms of scoring, like he can get through one-on-one defenders, he can drive to the basket and finish through contact, you're going to be talking about a top 10 player in the league. But he's not quite there yet. And I don't know if I have Jalen Brunson. I probably have him top 10. Yeah, probably right on that top 10. A little bit ahead of Tyrese Haliburton for these reasons. Karl-Anthony Towns. One of the most wild seasons seasons you can get from him. Both, actually. Right? 10 of 20, so another pretty efficient night from him. Right? 20 points, or 24 points, 1 of 4 from 3. 13 rebounds is what I want to focus on. He and, him and Josh Hart took away any second chance opportunity the Pacers could have had. The Pacers had 8 offensive rebounds in this game. They were out rebounded 34-32, or sorry, they were out rebounded 45-40. But the Pacers, they get a lot of their points on offensive rebounds, right? They're not a great set offensive team in the half court, and that's partly because of the lack of just scoring from Tyrese Haliburton, right? They get a lot of their points on fast breaks, second chance points where a defense is out of position and they're scrambling out, and you can just pump fake, get them in the air, drive to the basket for an easy deuce. But when the Knicks are able to hold a team to just one possession like this, they're eliminating all these second chance points. They're eliminating the chance of getting points quickly without taking too much time off the clock, right? Which is critical in a game where you're trying to hold on to a tight lead, which wasn't super tight in this game, but it certainly was in that early part of the fourth quarter was shrinking. This game was a game of runs, right? The Knicks would go up, then the Pacers would cut it back, and it just seemed like the Knicks had a response to every single one of the Pacers' run, which is why they win by 17 here. What else in this game? I thought Mathurin, or was it Mathurin? No, it was Nesmith at the beginning of the game. He looked good defensively. As the game sort of wore out, he became a liability on offense. Right, just 1 of 8, 1 of 5 from 3. Was a minus 20 in this game. 3 points, right? He, his defense was okay throughout the game. He looked good at some moments in the game, but the shooting in general from the Pacers just didn't help them out in this game, right? Just 10 of 30, 33%, but more importantly, 30 of 74 on field goals, which is 40.5% around that. Pascal Siakam, right? 5 of 13. That's not going to help, right? 15 points when Tyrese Haliburton isn't getting anything going as well. So both their stars are not able to provide production. Where on the other end, Jalen Brunson and Cat are both providing solid numbers. So yeah, you're not going to have a chance to win a game like that. Right? Benedict Mathurin somehow had 23 points off the bench. I don't even know how. Oh, he had it because he had 9 free throws. He was just getting hacked on, some of the plays, the rare plays that they got on transition breaks. He would just get hacked, and hacked hard enough that he wasn't able to make the shot in most cases. So just strategic fouling from the Knicks, which they need more of that. They need less of the fouling, the basically unconscious fouling from Karl Anthony Towns, making stupid plays on the defensive end. Right? You can't be wasting your fouls like we've seen from Cat for his whole career basically, right? And especially in these first 4 games of the series, right? He just played himself off the court with some of the fouls he was making. And he did pick up a couple fouls in this game early, but I think a lot of these fouls were, going straight up contesting. I'm not saying they weren't fouls, like they were the right calls and whatever. But they were him being in position and trying to do the right thing, whereas just knowing he was beat and just fouling instead of letting a basket go scored or a basket scored, right? He would just go and foul them and pick up fouls that where it's probably better off to allow them to score in that moment, but it keeps you on the court in critical possessions later in the game. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. The Knicks, they get one game here. Series is now 3-2. I do have the Pacers winning Game 6 in Indiana. You're gonna have the crowd on your side. I think that will help. And eventually, whenever the series ends, we will do a full preview of the finals against the Oklahoma City Thunder. We'll see. I think I have the Thunder winning in 5 if it's the Pacers and a sweep if it's the Knicks, even if the Knicks come out of this game, this series on top. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up here. Please follow on social media. We will be doing coverage throughout the week, live reactions like this one after every single game, as well as podcast episodes for Boston Celtics content. We did one today on Drew Holiday and a possible trade to the Dallas Mavericks. That was a good one. Right, the Mavs need a guard with Kyrie Irving down, and the Celtics could use some centers with the sort of mystery of what's going on with Porzingis and maybe Luke Cornett, Al Horford are heading out. So it seems like a pretty good trade. Right, we'll also keep an eye on Giannis. Obviously, I think most of this will come over the summer when we'll get lots of news, which will go live for any breaking news from anything around the league. But yeah, we'll be back Saturday for Game 6 reaction from the Knicks and Pacers, and then throughout maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday as well, we'll do some Celtics content. So yeah, until next time, go Celtics.
It's over. Time to say it again, Boston. Anything's possible. Banner number 18 has been secured.